How much money are you gonna need to start your Shopify dropshipping business if you wanna get to the $100 a day mark? Now, welcome into this video. First of all, for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Hayden. We do a lot of stuff with e-commerce on this channel. Now, this video, the reason I chose $100 a day is because that is the point where you're starting to get some momentum, but you're still probably not really making much money. I'm talking $100 a day in revenue, okay? And these numbers, the breakdown is gonna make a lot of sense here for you within like the next 10, 15 minutes, okay? So when you're first starting e-commerce, keep in mind, you're still running a business, whether it's Amazon FBA, selling products on eBay, like even doing Shopify dropshipping. It's still a business. You're running a business at the end of the day, so you have to you have to account, for those costs, okay? There are gonna be costs involved. Little things we're gonna talk about, we're gonna go through. Different hosting fees, different platform fees, and one of the biggest ones, your marketing spend, because the reason I chose that number, getting to $100 a day takes money in ads. There's things you're gonna have to do. Now, there's a few different methods you can do that just take a lot more time, so it's not really worth it to set up that would kind of lead to you being able to make money if you didn't really have much to spend on ads. Okay, so just keep this in mind. This is essentially how much money you need to get the ball rolling with e-commerce to the point where you can start making some money and just kind of double back down, okay? You're doubling down. If you're making $100 a day revenue, you might have a little bit of that being profit. Keep in mind, you're gonna wanna be, not even if you are, you're gonna want to be spending that money back inside of the business, inside of those ads, in order to be testing more audiences, more ads, maybe even more products, so that you can at least much quicker and much faster determine what is gonna be working for you the best, so that right out of the gate, you can start seeing that success, okay? So, the first thing I wanna talk about, there's gonna be three main costs associated with everything. First of all, if you wanna be doing this on Shopify, that's the primary platform we utilize, you use it for everything, okay? I have a bunch of different stores. Shopify, at the very minimum, is gonna cost you about $30 a month in order to host your website. Now, you can there's three options. You can have a live store, a paused store, or a closed store, okay? And these are the three different price points. A live store, again, at the minimum is gonna be like $30 a month, roughly, for the package. There's other packages that you can go look at. Go to shopify.com and hit pricing. I do definitely recommend the base package. There's no need for you to be spending $79 a month or more for the higher packages if you're not making sales or don't have much money. So that's the first cost, okay? $30 a month. Now, what other costs? There's gonna be costs that are not monthly, but are gonna be startup costs. Let's take a gander at what those would be. Your domain, okay? The domain for your store. It might not be a lot. It's gonna be about $13 if you go through GoDaddy, or if you go through Shopify, which I always recommend you do, it's gonna be $14. Now, it's $1 more, it's automatically integrates. It just makes the whole process faster. So that's kind of where it's a small cost, and that's a yearly thing. So your store might not even be running for a year. You know, you might have a store that lasts you 8 months. Totally fine, totally fine. But it's only gonna be $14 to get that, but that is still a cost. So if you're trying to start this business model with $100, keep in mind, you have enough for the domain, you have enough for your Shopify plan for 2 months now, because the $14 that'd be $104 if it was 3 months with the plan. Now, what other costs do you have? There's apps, okay? Apps. This is something where it's not 100% necessary, but trust me, you're gonna want some apps. You're gonna be able to boost conversions, okay? That's gonna help you right out of the gate. You're gonna be able to bring back more customers who've already purchased through email marketing, or bring back customers who have not yet purchased, so potential customers. These are people who might have started initiating a checkout. Maybe they added the product to their cart, started filling out the information, and just decided not to buy it for whatever reason. You can follow up with them. Guess what? A lot of those people, or at least a good chunk of them, will come back and finish that checkout. So you're gonna be recovering a lot of sales, which is very important. So you could very easily spend another $20 a month on apps. You could very easily spend $100 to $200 a month on apps, but we're gonna be very, very conservative here, okay? Let's just say you're gonna spend, let's say you're using Hurify, maybe better shipping and whatnot. Let's just call it $25 a month. $25 a month, plus $30 a month, plus $14 right away. Okay, so you do the math, it's very simple. We said 25 plus 30, that's 55, and that's monthly. Okay, so 55 a month. So if you're trying to start this with $100 a month, you now have to be making a profit by the beginning of month 2. Okay, you have to. And actually, you probably, actually no, you're gonna have to be making a profit enough to start continuing to dump that money back in by the end of month one, because the charges are gonna hit at the beginning of the month. So this is where, and this is why I said this in the beginning, because you probably didn't even fully register what I said. You are starting a business. For some reason, and I totally get why, I'll explain it, but people think that just because they're starting an online store and like a simple little business, it's not really a business, you know? They're like, oh, I can just start this with no money, no skill, no knowledge or whatever. How about you go try and take out a loan at the bank, open a restaurant with that same exact game plan? It's not gonna work out too well for you. So that's one of those things where you do want to be careful about the amount of money you're starting with, because if you're starting with 100, you're better off not even starting at all yet until you save up a little bit more, okay? So before I give you the exact ideal target numbers of what you should be starting with, let's talk about the other main cost. What other cost is involved? The ad spend, okay? How are you getting these customers to your website to purchase? This is the biggest, or one of the biggest expenses for almost every single company. Literally every single company. Like, let me give it like this. Rolex right now, Rolex doesn't even make money anymore. They don't care about making money. They've made their money. Rolex, the only way that they bring in new money, they spend all their money and all their efforts with lawyers going after and suing people who have made replicas, and they win those lawsuits. That's kind of what they're doing. So they don't care about the marketing. They're doing massive marketing. I see billboards just with their logo. Okay, same thing with Coca-Cola. They spend billions of dollars a year just getting their name out there. Like, you know, the Super Bowl, they have like, you know, the banners, the commercials, the whole 9 yards. It's everywhere. Marketing is how you're attracting the customer. That's the most expensive thing, okay, for almost every business. So what you can expect to be spending. There's a couple different angles. I'm gonna talk about the two primary platforms because I can only tell you what I'm really good at and what I know. And the two platforms I know are Instagram marketing and Facebook marketing, commonly known as Instagram influencer shoutouts or Facebook ads. Now, Facebook owns Instagram. So through Facebook ads and their platform, you can run ads on Instagram. A shout out is different than ads on Instagram, okay? An ad is a sponsored post. A shout out is where you're essentially paying someone with a big Instagram page to post on their page. So there's not really that middle step of like, you know, Instagram controlling something. So Instagram doesn't actually like that because obviously they're not getting any money from it. So there's those two different things. Now, the reason $100 a day is kind of an important milestone is because that would prove consistency. Now you could average $100 a day by doing, you know, 3 Instagram influencer shoutouts a week that make you like $250 each time. Yeah, but the only way you're really gonna see $100 every single day or $1,000 every day in real consistency every day is going to be through Facebook ads. Yes, you could argue you can do it with Snapchat, Instagram, you know, whatever, LinkedIn, like you can use Pinterest and YouTube. You could do that. It would just be a hassle. Messaging people, talking back and forth, it's really not worth it. So learning Facebook ads, the minimum amount of money you're gonna be spending every single day on Facebook ads, the minimum is gonna be $30. Now, if you wanna mess around with $5 a day ad sets, which you can, you could probably drop that down to $20 a day, okay? A day, which means you're spending about $1,000 a month, okay? You know, if it's at $30, roughly. So that would mean 4 ad sets if you're running a $20 a day total budget for your stuff. Each ad at $5 a day. That'd be testing different things. Primarily it's gonna be the different audiences, but you might wanna split it up between different posts or maybe even different products. So at the bare minimum, you're spending, let's just call it $1,000 a month on ads because you're gonna wanna do duplicates. You're gonna wanna have more things running. So you need money, you need to account for these expenses. So people might be like, oh, well, if you do that math plus this, I'm gonna need like, you know, $1,500 to start with. That would be a great number. Think about it logically. People are like, wait, I thought I could start with a few hundred. You won't have money for marketing after the first week. That's where people don't even seem to do math. It's all about math. Everything in business is math for the most part. Like, that's what I'm realizing. So understanding the math of what's gonna get you where you wanna be, targets, goals, daily ad spend, you know, simple things like that. So here's the thing. You could become profitable with your marketing in like the second week. So that means you're pumping new money back in. So that's why I say, you know, you should have about $1,000 for your ad spend, but you're not gonna need all that money right away. So, you know, if you're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks from your job or even every month, you could, you know, last longer because you're getting that new influx of cash. Or same thing, but a different situation where you start making some money back from the actual ads you're running. So there's multiple different scenarios, but the point here is you do have running costs. There are expenses right when you're starting. There's monthly costs and there's ad spend. Ad spend is gonna be your biggest expense. Now, keep this in mind. When you start selling a product, let's say you spend $500 on ads, you got $700 back. Great, you made a $200 profit. No, you didn't, because you have product cost, okay? Unless it's a digital product, you have product cost. And if it's a digital product, you have different hosting costs. So if you just made $700 revenue, in my experience, you probably have about $100 to $150 in product cost. So you only made $50 to $100. Not bad, you're getting started, but keep in mind, when you start processing sales and getting this money coming in, that doesn't just get sent to you immediately. Sometimes there's reserves, 25% reserves, where you won't see 25% of that money for up to 6 months. That can happen. Now there's other situations where you'll get it all at once, but at the very earliest, it's gonna be next day deposits. Usually it's gonna be a couple days or a week. So you might have to use other money that you have to purchase the product, unless you wanna wait a couple days to fulfill, which is okay. It's just gonna take much longer for the product to get to the customer, which can cause issues on the back end. But do what you have to do in the beginning to make sure you have the money to get some sales flowing in. So what I want you guys to do, what I want to challenge you to do, is just sit down and think about the cost of what you're trying to do. You're trying to do Facebook ads. People are like, oh, I have $100, or no, excuse me. People are like, oh, I have $1,000. What should I do? And I'm like, well, for starters, what are you good at? Have you learned a bunch about Facebook ads? You're like, nah, I've watched a few YouTube videos. I'm like, don't spend your money. You need to save more money and you need to get the information. Because what's gonna happen is if you're starting to spend this money on running costs, on ad costs, on the initial startup costs, and you don't know what you're doing, oh, that money's just gone. It just flew away like a bird. So that's why I tell people you gotta go get that information. That could be, some sort of digital training course. That could be going to an in-person seminar if you find something near you, or maybe you wanna travel to something that looks valuable, or if there's someone coaching you directly. Whatever it is, someone with experience and something that breaks down exactly what you need to be doing, and here's the key, exactly where you need to be spending your money. Okay, that's what you should be looking for. That's how you're gonna get to that $100 a day mark with your Shopify store. So, there's a lot of other things. You're gonna need the right product. You're gonna need to know how to do ad copy, all these little skills that go into it. That's just the cost. So you should definitely be coming into this business with $1,000 or at least $500 sitting in cash and more coming in to complete that $1,000 by the end of the month. I would say within 2 weeks. So that's a very low startup cost. If you wanna go franchise in McDonald's, it's gonna cost you like $800,000 or a couple $1,000,000. So keep it in perspective here. You're starting a business, yes, it's online. Yes, it's more simple. But it's still a business. So there are gonna be costs. I wanna put that out. It seems like a lot of people don't fully understand that. So what I want you guys to do, if you have any questions, any specific topics you want me to talk about, maybe how to do Facebook ads with only $30 a day as your max budget, like $30 a day, $20 a day, whatever, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I would be more than happy to make more videos around specific questions that you're struggling with. So let's have that conversation in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like. That's all I ask. We're coming at you with content on a daily basis, doing a bunch of crazy stuff, travel videos. We got a cool free live stream, which you can actually register for by hitting the link in the description, with one of our top students, Leon, who just 5 months ago, he literally had no money. Now he's making over $200,000 a month. It's a pretty quick scale. He's gonna tell his story and explain how he did it with the marketing, what products he was doing, all of that stuff. So we would love to see you guys on there. You can bring your questions. Other than that, again, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't done this already, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. We're gonna be doing a bunch of cool stuff very soon and I don't want you to miss it. So make sure to stay tuned to the channel. And with that being said, I'll be seeing you tomorrow in the next video. Peace.